It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special path tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Big thanks to Derek of Baker 6 Clan and our featured patrons, CP590, Swifty Golden, The Pizza Ninja, Geocache, DMN Rec, Widget Brittle, Action Trinity, TKD Scouter, Tax Pro RGV, Wards of Draw, and our new patrons, Jaspery, Hockey Mom 92, and Anonymous. There you go. All right, let's jump right into show 261.
Which Anonymous is it this week?
This same Anonymous, the most recent Anonymous.
Okay. You never know. We want to give the right anonymous person credit.
Yeah, exactly. It's the most recent Anonymous. As Tom says, Anon E Mouse. All right, let's jump into some news.
News? There's no news going on.
There's quite a few news out there.
But not the terrible news that's about the world. We're only talking about geocaching news.
Yeah, none of that
news. Any of the rest of it.
Right. Although we're holding thought out for all the Louisianans out there, because Mount Ida. Hurricane Ida is kind of a mess right now. So
they're already trying to get you to spill the. What are you trying to spill the beans about?
Nothing. I got no beans to spill
right now.
What are you talking about? New leaderboard challenge still going on. Reach the peak.
Mm-hmm.
We have both reached the peak for August. Correct? You haven't done it yet? Okay.
I'll have some logging done by the end of it, and I'll be caught up. I've had a major, busy non-geocaching week. So
dang, you have
all kinds of disasters going on, and good stuff too, but also disasters.
Good stuff too. Yeah, you did a little bit of competing.
Yeah, I did. Now, if I could just combine the two, right, strongman and geocaching, that would be a fun event.
Yes. This is funny. At least I'm not anonymous, and it's some Facebook user we don't know.
Which is anonymous. That's great.
Which is anonymous.
That's funny.
Because you got to register on your thing to so it shows up. So hello Facebook users. Happy to have you along for the ride. So it's kind of cool. I mean, we talked about it before, but do you like the idea of the reset? Monthly reset?
Absolutely. Souvenirs themselves don't get me excited anymore because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Right. And you can't do challenges around them, and there's a lot of things you can't do. I don't think you can anymore, right?
No.
If you do, what would you do? Get 1,000? Because you can get like hundreds of them a year now. However, I do like what they're doing with this, this leaderboard challenge. Right. They're adding something new to it. There's different levels to it. It's not just a plain go find 100 and you get your souvenir.
Right. No, I agree. I like it. And somebody came out of the woodwork and said who they were. It's Tom, TTF and
There we
Caching.
go.
So thank you, my friend. Hey, Mini Mag, California. All right. Hope things are well out there.
I think
Tom said,
Monday it probably resets. I think the
resets.
Yes, there is a strongman cache in Gilby. That's right. I still need to get up there.
There is, yeah, definitely.
That will be fun.
Flat Jesse will have to become flat. That's good.
That's funny.
That's good stuff. Yeah. So I think the next one's Oceania. That's the next peak. So
I think this one's enough to get people out caching a little bit. I mean, you can do it all with traditionals, but you might as well try to get some different ones, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of fun. I mean, the Motley Caching crew went out a couple weekends ago, and we were tracking it. So, now some of the guys that were in our little group are still tracking the Wonders, which we finished that long ago, I think. At least, yeah.
Well, if you go to Omega, you're done.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah.
But that's why this one's nice. You can't accidentally finish this one because it's months in a row.
Correct. Yeah. No, I love that. Okay. So next item I want to talk about is, of course, Worldwide Cache Fest. Worldwide Cache Fest is
isn't that a big mega event now?
It's a big mega event. There it is. There's Signal playing the guitar, and yes, it's not a bass guitar. I'm sorry, I keep saying that, but it's a big guitar. GC9 E5GX. It's an event, so that's the E. It's going to be on the ground, and it's extraordinarily great. There you go.
That's what the X is for. Extraordinary.
That's what the X is for.
Yeah.
But anyway, so sign up, register, buy some guitars. There's 3 in the set, and we discounted it, so you can buy 3 coins for 50 instead of 3 coins for 60. And they actually might be in soon, so you might actually get them in the mail pretty quick. So I would say,
exciting,
buy them now, because plus it helps us prepare, because we got bills to pay, and if you could, we would really appreciate it if people would go ahead and purchase, make a donation. Think of it as just a donation, as Tom always says. Maybe you're not
you're so rich. We'll just write a check for it.
Just right.
You pay for the $1,000 it takes to host a mega. That's no problem.
Yes.
No, it should be. I've heard it's going to be the best mega ever. I don't know if that's official yet, but since it hadn't happened, but I've heard it's supposed to be the best mega that's ever happened or in the future.
Yep.
And it's in a huge park. So even if the world is still falling apart, which maybe this is all being a rearview mirror by then.
Cross fingers.
It's still falling apart. It's the largest urban park in America, so there's more outside space there than anywhere. So we should be super safe no matter what. So it's a good, safe plan to bet on for a good vacation at a good time. So hopefully it'll be a very good, safe bet mega in the future.
No, absolutely. Without, I don't go into a lot of the detail, but you've got,
obviously we'll cover it again many times.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we got the 3 academies. You got the puzzle, the challenge, and the gadget academies going on.
Some kind of large event.
That park is amazing.
Yeah, we'll have some kind of large event there, like a challenge type, physical type event, and tons of other stuff.
Yep. Bills? They're bills. Ryan knows quite well that there are bills.
Yeah. But you know what? When anybody else hosts a mega, and obviously we're sponsoring, however you want to say it, we're helping host this mega, right? However you want to say it technically. We're our support behind it, like we've done other ones. We're just being a little more visible on this one.
Yeah.
What you do is you're trying to do the best thing ever. So we're going to shoot for the moon on this one. Lots of stuff that's never happened before. So,
yes,
Gary will get to spill all kinds of beans between now and then.
All kinds. Concert. We're going to have a concert too. That's going to be great. We're working every day on this mega, and it's not until July. So if you can imagine some of the best minds in the mega world working on this all the time, it's definitely going to be great. So yeah, going caching is coming up. Yep. We're going to have a crew there. Part of the Geocache Talk crew will be at Going Caching. We're going to be doing a radio show on that Friday night, right before the play that they have every Friday at Going Caching. So we definitely will be there. We have people going out to other megas as we can. Derek's going to be at Jackson County's mega. We have patrons that'll be at CoinFest. So that's coming up. So we suggest going to all these different kind of megas. They are really great times. I mean, there's something about a mega that is hard to describe until you've been to one, but it's just such a great time. And Jess and I have talked many times about how it's just wonderful to be with others, together, forget about everything, forget about everything in the world, and just focus on having a great time and just enjoy that time together. So, and
they're starting to happen again with more frequency now. So that's
right.
That's very exciting, right? So, let's hope it sticks and life gets back to normal, and all we got to worry about is caching all the time.
Absolutely. Other note, there's it's in the show notes too, and the show notes will be up after the show. I'll post them up there right afterwards. But there's I think it was August 26th, so 3 days ago, there was a update to search filtering. I don't know if anybody's noticed it yet, but if you go to the website, if you go to geocaching.com and you go to the search bar, or if you go into the filters section, which is right next to it, there have been updates, changes made. Their highlights of the release, that the functionality of all filters has not changed, only the visual design. The filter panel now features collapsing sections. Caches I have not found, and caches I do not own filters are applied by default. There's some debate about that. Some people say that doesn't work. Maybe it's fixed. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. There's a filter to show geocaches that will fill your missing DT grid. That's nice. It's also in the dashboard.
And so I haven't played with it much yet, but I believe, and somebody will correct me immediately, I'm sure if I'm wrong, but if you're on like that, the DT grid thing will be on your current loop. Right. So it's not just anymore. It used to just originally it was like just for the first loop, and after that it went kind of wonky. But now whatever loop you're on, it's to help you finish that loop.
Yes. Yeah. One thing that's gone though, and I don't like to focus on negative things because
that's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much good that comes out of geocaching.com that it's rare that we ever mention in all the years we've done the podcast. We probably, you and I probably mentioned maybe 1-2 things, but this one's kind of a bummer. I hope they change it back. But currently, if you were to put in a GC code of an archived cache, it won't bring it up on geocaching.com, or it won't do it on the app. You have to either go to Project GC, which you should be on at Project GC anyway. Shout out to Project GC. So definitely show them some love, support them, subscribe to them. It's not much. It's like $24 a year or something like that. It's cheap. You can go to Cachely and put in the GC code, and probably could do it on the Android ones too. So don't Don't get me wrong.
Let me play devil's advocate for a minute.
Okay.
On this one, right? Because obviously I always have opinions when they do stuff like this. And I try to. So there's the one part of me that's like, well, I want to be able to find them.
Yep.
But there's the other more logical part that's like, they're not supposed to be found.
Right.
They're not yours, and they've removed them off the website.
But I need to see them.
Geocaching.com's intention is not for you to go get them anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
exactly.
The owner either archived it because they don't want you to go get it. Because the owner can always access their own archive caches.
Sure.
That's not a thing. But there's a reason they've removed those off of there and archived them. One, they don't want people to go to them. They've been abandoned or whatever else. And I know we like to hunt archive caches, but if you're the owner, you're going to try to cut out those loopholes. We like exploiting the loopholes.
Right. Well,
but for them, it makes sense that they're not allowing you to find stuff that they're not listing anymore. So I guess in that sense, it does make sense.
Right. If you type in, and this is not how you would do it because you could just go to your own caches, but if you're to type in your own GC code, it no longer works. Ryan was saying that it's been that way, and that's not true because I tried it at least a week ago because I'm working on a book, and you could put in a GC code and it would bring up the old one. Maybe it's been a little longer than a week. Maybe it was a little bit longer than that, but Barbara mentions CGO will show archived. Yeah. So some apps will show it. All the major apps probably will let you show, except for geocaching.com's app doesn't show it.
Well, again, it's archived for a reason, right? They're taking it off of there. They're not going to help you find something that they took away.
Right. It is just one of those things that I know it's archived, but I need to look at stuff. In fact, this show tonight we're doing about Setos. I've got several links and I can create a link to it and you can find it that way. But I was trying to do research. And so I put in a GC code and it goes, nope, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's like, wait a minute. I need to see this cache. I mean, show me this cache.
No.
It's an archive.
You want to see it. But what? I don't think, even though we've sent in letters, I don't think HQ builds their website based on what we want to do for our podcast. We've sent in them all the letters, but I don't think they're going to reprogram it for us. Just
remember then, I'm going to Project GC. I'm spending web time on Project GC and not geocaching.com because I can go over there and find it. So, yeah.
Jeff, there's always other ways to get information, right? I mean,
yeah.
But here's the funny thing, and I don't want to get into the negative part, right? But I guarantee you, and I don't get in the boards for this reason, no matter what they do, I guarantee you there's a whole bunch of people that are already mad.
Yeah.
They're already mad and have acted like this is somebody slapped their baby.
Yeah.
Because every time some little thing comes out, people are like, you've ruined my world. Every time it's like, oh, they changed the dot. I have to type in my own dot now.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah, I know.
Remember, we're playing a game and it's supposed to be fun. And 99% of people, maybe not that many, 95% of people are like, cool, it's new, it's different, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because like they'll change something, like they'll update the page where like something's now on a different page, and people will act like people that spend 7 months solving one puzzle.
Right.
They can't figure out where on that website that they moved in on the page. I'm like, yes, you can. you do puzzles for a hobby.
Right.
You solve crazy Greek crap that's like translated as like into Klingon. And they're like, no, I can't figure it out anymore. You've moved the page. I can't do it. Stop. Just stop. Yes. Get on there and play. Half of what you do is figure things out, but when it changes one little thing on there, they're like, I quit. I'm gonna go play another game.
Yep.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Stop it. It always makes me laugh because every time something new comes out, they're like, I can't even play. This is not how it used to be.
Right.
That's what it changed.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. So
it makes me laugh every time.
Yeah. So anyway, it is currently what it is.
Look at that.
You can find them on Project GC. So
archive caches still show up at bookmark list.
That's okay, interesting. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. Yeah. Now, and the thing to remember too. I'm make sure I point this out in the fact that it's still there. I mean, you can still the web page, the archive cache is still listed. You just can't search for it. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, really. Why do I not believe that? So,
yeah. No, I think it's good. I think it's actually cleaner. People may or may not like it. The search filter, I think, is actually a little easier to read on the desktop version.
Yeah.
But some people never get on the desktop version. They only use apps, but
that's true.
I think it's cleaner. It looks good. I would be embarrassed to say I can't figure it out now.
Right.
I'm a geocacher. I can figure it out. It's okay. I think it's good. They're always going to try and change and update stuff. And, they're slowly going through the website and modernizing everything. So,
right.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah. Just Fire Away mentioned, but you can bring it up if you have the GC code. Well, no, you can't directly. You can't through the search bar.
Yeah.
If I type in, if I know the code,
yeah,
and I type in GC blah blah blah, and I hit, I go, and what it does is, and you hit search, is that it usually, if it's an active cache now, it'll immediately show the 10-mile radius, and then underneath it, it has a little button that you can look at that particular cache. It defaults to the 10-mile radius. I guess you can change it obviously somewhere probably, but if you put in the GC code for an archived cache, the only option that it gives you currently is a 10-mile radius, possibly around it, I assume, but it won't show it to you. So anyway,
like Owen says, and this is the way I usually
the URL line. Yes,
you type in the You can type in the URL line, yeah, and it's geocache.com/geocache/ whatever the CC code is. That'll still pull it up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Google search stuff too, right? So
yeah. And like I said, there's several. There'll be several in the show notes as we're going to get started now with talking about CITOs. But there's several CITOs that are in the show notes. You can click on it; it takes you to the cache. So they're there. It's just that they're kind of weird that they, yeah, the coordinates are still on the page. Yep, Minimag. Yep, everything seems the same. It's just that it would just be quicker to leave it so that. All of us that like to go, okay, I'm done. All right.
All of us that like to break their rules.
No, I just want to see
for us to break their rules. This is ridiculous.
I'm looking for an archive cache because I need information off of it. I don't
think they want you to go find an archive cache. I think that's the whole point.
Yeah, I know. But I want to see the page. I'm not going to go find the cache because the cache is
they'll trust that. They should trust that 100%. Nobody would ever. We did a whole show on people going to do that.
Yeah, really. We did, which I think's fun to do too. Just go search for archives. So, okay. All right.
Anyway.
So a couple notes on CITOs tonight. Our timing, Jesse, is perfect because CITO season 2 starts Wednesday. So CITO season 2 will be from September 1st through Tuesday, November 30th, 2021 is what the note says.
So before we move on, should we tell the 20 million brand new cachers? That's the numbers. That's the last numbers I heard. I don't know.
What is it?
Started since COVID, 20 million, I think. Should we cover what a CITO actually is?
Absolutely. Yes.
Do you want to go with the official rules or just give a basic?
Just describe in your own words what a CITO is, maybe.
I'll do that, and then you can go off the official one to tell us what's actually correct. But a CITO event is an event minimum of an hour long. It's different than a regular event because the general idea is you're doing something to improve the area, whether it's a cleanup. Typically, it'll be cleaning up trash like on the side of the highway, at a city park, or something like that. So the whole point of a CITO is cash in, trash out.
Yep.
It's pronounced CITO. If you hear it any other way, kick them in the shins because they're all wrong. Not CITO or Kaido or whatever. I don't know. There's all kinds of ways. So CITOs, cash in, trash out. The general idea is CITO.
CITO.
That's the phonetic spelling of it, right? But the general idea is you're hosting an event. It's not to go caching. The event is to actually do like a cleanup project, some kind of cleanup project for that hour time period.
Yes. Has its own icon.
It does.
Cool. Yes.
Like all other events, it can only be a 1 difficulty, but it can be a 1 through 5 terrain.
Yeah, and we've got one that we're going to talk about tonight that's a D1 T5. It's like how you just don't see that very often. That
it depends on where you are. The only CITO currently in my state right now is a 1 4.5.
Oh wow, yeah. So I mean, it is. I think it's a pretty rare grid, grid item is D1 T5. I mean,
yeah, it can be.
Obviously, the 4.5s. 4.5s. That's for another. This is for another show.
Oh yeah,
that's for another show. But
sadly, mine's just filled with water tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
That's for another show is water. That's so boring.
Right. That shows you what he's. That shows you how rough of a week Jesse's had.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
But as you know, because to finish your first Fizzy Grid, you had to. You were short of 4.5, which I think a lot of people.
4.5 is actually what I was short.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that seems to be fairly common. So anyway, all right, we're going to talk about how can I earn both CITO souvenirs to earn the CITO 2021 season 1 and the season. I guess you're almost too late for the season 1 of this year's souvenir.
Yeah,
season 1. You can get a season 2 here in a few days.
Well, there could be a CITO tomorrow.
That's possible. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's true. I'm just saying you can't really can't start.
You can't publish one now, but you don't have to publish it. You just have to attend one.
Right. It says, remember, only one souvenir per season. Feel free to attend or host as many CITOs throughout the year as you wish. Obviously, we know that. Check out we got the website for the CITO. And okay. So we're going to talk about several. Jesse, I'm going to get your opinion on some of these and tell me what your thoughts are and maybe some different ways to do what these folks are doing. Maybe there's a different way to do them.
Have you attended many CITOs?
I really haven't. I've been to a few now, but
I was just going to check. I don't remember how many I've attended.
Yeah,
a dozen or so.
I need to go to more of them. So I've been derelict in my going to CITOs. So I'm trying to do better on that.
I'm lying. I've been to 26.
26. Yeah, I've been to like.
But in fairness, I've hosted 10. So
yeah, that's awesome.
So 10 of those are mine.
You're much more the expert. So that's why I'm counting on you to help on these. So, so UDAC asking about, does a CITO also qualify? It would. You don't have to. GC8 Neat, which is a locationless cache.
So that's how I got mine.
Icon you can get, right. I got my GC8 Neat just because we were near a cache that I was placing, and I just started picking trash up, and we took a photo, and that was my GC8 Neat. So
I just sent in an old photo of me cleaning up trash.
No,
yeah, I did it from a couch. It was fine.
Let's not do that.
I actually did. I sent my GC8 Neat in from photos we took of a group while we were doing a CITO. So
right, that's like a double. It's a double. You get a CITO and you get the locationless all in one fell swoop.
Look at Tom. So some people definitely go to. Tom's been to 83 CITOs.
83 CITOs and hosted 11. Good for you, my friend.
That's some people get into them, and I guess before we even talk about different ones, CITOs are different. Some areas have them all the time. Some areas hardly ever have them, and some cachers like Tom, and it looks like Ryan too, have been to a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Some cachers will avoid them like the plague, like literally like the plague, because they don't want to go out and touch trash. They don't want to be cleaning up stuff off the highway.
Right.
They're not interested in doing that.
Yeah.
And your standard CITO, if you think back to the ones you've been to, it's probably just walking around picking up trash.
Right.
9 out of 10 of them that you go to are walking around picking up trash, or side of the road or whatever else. And and like my wife is not interested in doing that. She is not interested in the slightest in picking up trash in a ditch somewhere. So she's not like CITOs. However, as we're going to talk about tonight, many CITOs, they don't have to be roadside pickups. They can be many other things. So,
yeah, we've got some interesting ideas, I think, in here that we found. We've done some research on, and I think that's what I want to do.
Look at that. Kitty Catch 49 hosted one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have been to a
Only.
lot of these.
Julie's like, only. That's quite a few, I think. 25.
And again, this is not representative of the wider geocaching audience. The people that are in here are, as we've demonstrated many times, they're into it, right? It's Sunday night and we're watching a live taping of a podcast.
Yeah. And
this is a group that's been dedicated for a long time. Most of the people in here, and they travel the world. They've, this is a very educated, in-deep group when it comes to geocaching. So this is not a representative sample. I guarantee you it's probably one of the lowest icons for most people other than webcams.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, that would be an interesting stat if we could ever find that, which is what is the least found icon, not cache.
I just lied. I've found more webcams than I've been to cache CITOs, but
well, still, that's pretty good though. That's a rare, because that's
not normal. You got to be into weird stuff, right? Is anybody else found more? What's your CITO to webcam ratio? I'm going to ask that about, because this is a weird sample here, right? This is the dedicated people, but I guarantee if we ask that in general life, people are not going to have the same.
Gosh, let me go take a look at mine. Now that you threw that out there, I got to go look.
But I will say, out of 433 events I've been to, only 26 of them were CITOs.
Oh, okay. Right.
So it's definitely a really small percentage of, now, obviously, as we talked about before, I like going to events. That's one of both of our favorite thing to do. So
I have webcams. I'm trying to find them. Two webcams. I got the same number of webcams as CITOs.
So. Oh my gosh, look at that. Well, that was a totally made up stat that really blew up in my face, but that's okay.
I got 2 location lists. Isn't that weird? I think everybody now has at least 2 location lists. So, all right. Okay. Let's talk about the first one. We got several to talk about. So let's get into, and I'll put it in the show notes so people can follow along. But I want to talk about one that is actually upcoming. We're going to talk about a couple that are upcoming, and then we'll talk about some that are archived that you can go look for if you use the link that give you some ideas. So this first one is called Paying Homage to Those Lost 20 Years Ago Today. So this is going to be a CITO that is going to be on I think it's on 9/11. Yep, it's on 9/11. It has some ideas as far as what you can do for sort of as an honor to those that lost their lives on 9/11. Says, as cachers, we wanted to do something to pay homage to those that lost their lives on this day 20 years ago. We thought a CITO would be nice. For this event, we'll be teaming up with the Texas Eco Alliance folks. They're a nonprofit dedicated to reducing litter in our underserved local parks, waterways, and promoting sustainability. Mentioned a web Facebook page if you'd like to know more, and they're going to get you the details pretty soon. But kind of interesting way to sort of bring together a couple different things.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we just think of, let's just throw a CITO together, generic. And it's like, well, maybe it'd be better if you coupled it with something.
Yeah, there's some significance to it.
Yeah, something a little bit that you can kind of make it even more meaningful for people. Maybe you clean up an area that is that's like a veterans memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Put the CITO there. Something of that.
They can be about something more than just getting an icon, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. And they did something on that one too that I think is interesting if people look at the cache page. But they're going to hide they're having 2 new caches come out during the CITO, which obviously you have to work with a reviewer if you're going to do that. And the CITO is not to do that, but that's always a good little bonus for people that are there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Then they have a note says that this is what they're calling a dire need event. The park and surrounding area is in horrible shape. Please log will attend as soon as possible. If you can come to the, come and get updates. It's going to be most laborious Seto I've ever had or attended is what the person said. I've been asking a few people to help with the heads up. If you're interested in helping, let them know. If you want to do a little more than the normal, let them know and they can probably, help you, you can help them do more as part of that process. So something to think about, do something a little bit different. These are all going to be, this is the point of this show, and you can reference this show and give it to others, is that what are some things you can do? And somebody mentioned earlier, like, I'm really looking forward to tonight's show because they're wanting ideas. And there's the first idea is to couple it with something else. So
look for some area that's deserving of a Seto, right?
Right. Exactly.
Somewhere besides a highway.
Right. This is another one we're going to talk about that is coming up. It's on 9/25, September 25th. And I'm putting it in the chat room so they can play along or view it along with us. But the one we're going to talk about now it's called the Unknown Baby Girl Grave Memorial Restoration. And
so this is interesting because this is not your standard for sure.
No, exactly. So the note says that there's and this is something, I don't know if you've ever done something like this, Jesse, where and this is really because you and I have, at least down in Texas, at least I know, and you probably, I don't know about Colorado, you have to update everybody on Colorado, but in Texas, parks and cemeteries.
There's a lot of cemetery. There's a cemetery series here too.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah.
Some states are different.
Yeah, there's a cemetery series here that a lot of people go after or whatever, but
yeah,
you don't normally see, excuse me, Setos in those cemeteries, but a lot of cemeteries are public or have been around for a long time. It's not the brand new memorial places that you see, the fancy ones or whatever, but there's a lot of them that don't have as much upkeep, and I guarantee if you reach out to somebody on there, they would probably want some help doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's that to me is really a really good one, because
just thinking an old, somewhat abandoned cemetery that's overgrown. That's a perfect one.
Yes, Catherine, you're right.
Yeah.
Karen, I'm sorry. You're exactly right. That to me is a Seto. You don't even have to do much anything as far as. I mean, you got to
think about it. Let's say you do that. You reach out to the county. It's like now county property. It's one of those things. It's a historical type deal. You could probably do it once a year. They would be happy to have you do it once a year. So you have an annual one set up already, right? You already have a place for it. You have the contacts. You have all the people. And once a year for, however long you want to do it, you have a place to do an annual Seto.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. And at least down here in Texas, I don't know about other places, but many of the cemeteries down here, when you start to go in the front, it'll have a sign, and it actually has a phone number and a person to call. So there you go. There's a good in
Australia they do community gardens. So if you have a community garden, they always need assistance too, right?
Yes. So, yeah, that's a good one, Barbara. Yeah. This one,
and again, not picking up trash. You're probably just moving weeds or whatever else. So something totally different for those that don't want to pick up trash.
Yeah, and we'll talk about a little later on as far as planning for these, but we wanted to give everyone some initial ideas, get the thoughts going, get the brain working here tonight. They did, which I like in this one, that this one has a list of things: weed eaters, rakes, a couple push mowers, other things they want you to bring that would help, bring some, items for that you can put out there, flowers, ribbons, trinkets of different kinds, coolers of ice
I could
and
hook one
water.
of these in my backyard.
Yeah.
Get people to show up with a push mower. I don't know. That might be great.
Seto.
Clean out my garage.
Well, maybe, yeah. I guess that's potential there, right?
Yeah. That probably wouldn't work. I don't suggest that.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So interesting. We'll talk about a couple of the other items that they mentioned, but they said that what they will provide what they're bringing, so that okay, they're going to bring the trash bags, the gloves, several things like that. So anyway, I like the idea. That's an interesting one. Yeah, Nell's pointing out about the county parks department are usually thrilled to point you in a direction. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's cool.
I think that's the biggest thing is people are just kind of scared to reach out to the county department and say, hey, I want to get some people together to do a project. What do you have?
Right.
Especially right now, when with the world being as messed up as it is, people cannot get people to work.
Right.
People are not working right now.
Right.
So if you're short on manpower, things have to go to the wayside, and things like, public cleanup projects will definitely help out.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. This is a perfect time to do things like that. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So cleaned up a state park, and they cleaned up the park and painted park benches. Well, painting a bench, that's great. That's not picking up trash. That's very cool.
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah.
That's a great one. And while you're there, hide a cache under it,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Hey, you can even paint the cache the exact color of the bench.
Exact same color.
And you're perfect. Really hide
it. Next one kind of gets into some other areas that we're going to talk about tonight, some other possibilities. This one's very specific. It was done in Portugal. So we're going to talk about some Czech Republic Citos. This one was Portugal. The reason I bring it up right now is because the ones we talk about may not necessarily be something that you can do in your area, but maybe that's why we're bringing them up, because these are items that pretty much don't ever come up, I don't think, as far as ideas for Citos. This one is one that they did, and I can give you the GC code, but they were building and hanging bird nests to attract birds to help eat invasive caterpillars. So apparently they have a problem in this particular area.
That's great.
Yeah. So
and 1 out of every 10 of the birdhouses you hang up could actually be a geocache.
Yeah, there you go. You can make it. So I put it in the show notes if you want to go look at that one. An interesting idea.
Right? This, again, not picking up trash. There's
not
tons
picking
of
up
things
trash.
you can do besides picking up trash off the side of a highway.
Yes. That's even just doing something like this. Obviously, you need to do some planning, do some checking in your area, whether it's something that the area needs. There may be, you can adjust based on what you learn about the area, but this kind of idea really opens up really a whole other world of potential Ceto items.
Yeah, and even more than that. So what we always, preach about a lot on here is family friendly.
Yes.
Picking up trash, which could be needles or anything else off the side of the highway, is not a family friendly geocaching event.
Correct.
I don't want my 8-year-old, walking up with a hypodermic needle sticking out of her hand.
Right.
Because we're trying to do a family event. However, if we're painting benches and hanging birdhouses,
yes,
perfectly family friendly. So it's not just because trash is gross and boring to do, but there's other reasons to have creative events too, right? You still get to give back. You still get to do something with your family, and you can have your kids there, and it's a safe environment as opposed to some of the other Cetos that are out there.
Right. No, absolutely. Some people don't think about the fact that for you, walking the side of a road, okay, well, I'm pretty good, but the younger you get, I love that one. Burnt Turtles did
Counting
one.
Eagles. That's awesome.
Counting eagles.
There's some really creative stuff out there.
Yeah. but we don't think about the fact that the younger you get, the less diligent people are at watching a road correctly. Just one of those things where it just is, like you said, it's
just be a bad situation.
It's a bad situation. So there have been several items in the chat room. We're not ignoring you. It's just those are items we're going to get to. So thank you for your suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do that. But we do appreciate your. It's like you've read ahead. They read ahead, Jesse.
We have an extremely educated.
We have the best. Yeah.
People that listen live to this or watch live to this, they know what's going on, right?
They know. So. Yeah. Okay. Next one, which has also been mentioned just recently in the chat room, which was to remove invasive species of plants.
Mm-hmm.
This is one that I remember. I've heard others mention before, and I thought this was a really cool idea. I'll give you the GC code if you want to look this one up. It's archived. So
this is one where you definitely want to talk to the local people. Don't just do this on your own.
Right. Absolutely.
Start picking plants. Be like, those look bad.
Yeah. That's not necessarily invasive, right? It may look invasive to you, but it may not really be invasive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but do some investigating, talk to the experts, and they will be more than happy to help you determine the best way to go about doing this particular type of activity. And you really are helping because invasive species, we forget how bad they are.
Yeah.
Susan and I were in Hawaii, and the tour we went on, which was tremendous, but the person lived there, and they said there is, and he showed us the plant, and this is bad too, boy. Talk about good evolution, I guess, of this tree. But this tree was smart enough that it put its seeds in the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. And when you pop open the leaves, all these seeds were sitting there. You're like, oh my gosh, this thing's like, talk about invasive. And it's not a plant that's native to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And it was just starting to overrun this whole area. And it's like, oh my gosh. Yes, Direwolf. Texas snowbirds are considered an invasive species. So sorry, buddy, but if it's we might head, if it's sort of the I guess it's the reverse, right? A Texas snowbird goes north when it's hot. Is that how that works?
Yes, I guess it depends on nowadays. They flip back and forth all over the place. It's becoming a more common way to live, isn't it?
Yeah, it must be. So, but anyway, so that's a good example.
Absolutely, that's a good one.
And there's plenty of those that we can work together. There's and a lot of times it's the dumb humans doing dumb things, but down in the San Marcos River, they planted this weed thing that they're like, oh, well, we can harvest it and sell it, kind of thing. And of course, it just became a bloody mess. So,
yeah,
I mean, those are the kind of things that they probably need help with an invasive species that they can point you to and go, here's what it looks like. This is not supposed to be here. This is something we're trying to eliminate. And so there you go.
But yeah, but it helps the environment in the area. So that's always a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so invasive is bad. Yes. Ryan's pointing out, yeah, weeds aren't necessarily bad. That's not necessarily invasive. We're talking about damaging plants. Weeds are
not supposed to be there.
Yeah, not supposed to be there. All right. Next one is unwanted graffiti. And I worded it that way because nowadays, I think you've seen this. There are places
locations that allow graffiti.
Yeah, and so it I wanted to word it that way because there are places that are have murals of well, they're not really graffiti. I guess I mean, that's
I guess
also
it's
another word
all
that's probably,
opinion, huh?
yeah, it's all opinion, but unwanted would be, the kind of tagging
Without
that,
permission.
yeah, without permission. Exactly. It's a good way to put it. It just looks bad. It's not been asked to be done, that kind of thing. So there's a good one, and there's the if you the one that I put in the notes there, that is one that is easy to do. Is not, again, you're not picking up trash. You're
Again,
just
done with permission and with coordination of whoever owns the property and gives permission
correct.
for whatever on the property.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, Karen's right. Art is a matter of opinion, but again, you have to have permission for art.
Yeah, it's not art if you don't have permission to do it.
Yes,
That's called graffiti.
that's graffiti.
Doesn't matter how good it is.
Yeah.
That's not up for debate.
No.
It's whether you had permission and whether you illegally did it. But yeah, that's a neat one. I've never heard of that one before you brought it up in the notes, but
Yep.
cleaning up something like that is great in an area. Now, a lot of places don't let graffiti stick around very long, but if the more remote places like that where it's harder to do, that would be a really neat project.
Yeah, one of the things that, and I don't want to get too sidetracked, but I did read an article, or I actually was thinking it was in a book, but it stuck with me, and that is that many of the cities and counties and so forth that take care of graffiti do to counter graffiti, and that is you got to remove it quickly. So actually,
a lot
in
of
New
places
York,
do that.
yeah. So New York City was very. They wanted to get rid of the graffiti on their trains, and so one of the things that they did, yeah, it is hard to paint a moving train, so that is true.
Yeah.
As the subways came rolling in to be turned around and you get prepped for the next day, is they immediately removed all the graffiti, and so every day they were moving. I mean, and slowly it got to where it wasn't worth tagging it because their message of putting those out was less and less. So, okay, so that's a good one. That's different, but there are areas that do not get cleaned up as quickly. And so there's something that, I think would be.
I think you went blurry there for a minute. I don't know why, but
I did, but I think it's cleared up now. So if I put something in front of it, it changes.
Gary's camera was yawning.
It'll get blurry and then it'll come back. So
all right. So graffiti, that's a good one. Obviously with permission, right?
Thanks, Direwolf. Appreciate you. I'll just do this. Okay. So now let's talk about the next one. So, all right. No, I'm kidding. All right. How about this next one, in which is fence trees and nurture the future forests. This is an interesting one. This was in the Czech Republic. I'll put the GC code in the chat room so you can follow along with us.
Kind of goes along with the whole theme of planting trees.
Yeah, this was a neat one. So there's plenty of times where they just need people to be able to help with forestry type items that just need some manpower. They just need people to come out. Not hard to do. They just need the manpower. And CITOs are a great chance for people to come along and help. And then you can even see later on, you can always go back and go, oh, we were part of helping this particular forest sort of recover. And
what a cool message for kids, right? Kids can go back to that tree multiple times and know they were part of that.
Right. Yeah. Think of the impact that you can have on the youth when you go in there and do those kind of items where, make sure it's a native tree. Yeah.
And go ahead and hang your bison now. Just don't publish it for like 5 years.
Right.
So it'll be a much higher DT,
Right. Yeah. So that's, make sure you're doing what they're wanting you to do.
Well, that's the thing with all these, right? If you're going to get any CITO, first of all, get permission.
Right.
Like you're supposed to with all caches and events anyway, but we know people don't do that. But with CITOs, especially, if you're going to change the environment or do something to try to help,
yes,
CITO is probably the best thing we have to give back for all those bomb scares and the trash that we leave around that, people don't get permission and then they archive and just leave trash out there and the Tupperware containers and the medicine pill bottles. This is our best defense to all that. Like, no. Geocaching is good for the area. It's not trash. So we don't want to get this one wrong. So definitely get permission on that. And, make sure you're doing something good. Don't go in. I'm going to clean up this invasive species. I didn't have time to contact the ranger. And then we pull up all the stuff they just planted.
Right.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Planting trees, something that we might get a chance to do for Cache Fest. We're in the process of talking to them, but one of the things they're doing is they're trying to plant a certain number of trees that in an area, and there's a lot of those that are great. Like you said before, Jesse, is that you can come back, 5-10 years later and see the great impact that you can have by obviously don't just plant willy-nilly. You got to check, but I bet you around your area there is an area, if you did just do a little bit of work is all, just not much, but you can check. And I bet you there's an area that like, oh yeah, we need to plant trees in this particular location. We're really needing that for erosion purposes. There's several reasons.
Right.
But we just don't have anybody to help us do it. We don't have any manpower at all. We're like, okay, well, we'll help. We can do, it's just one day, but we can do all the ones we can. And there's, a lot of times they give you the supply. I mean, they're going to supply you with everything. Typically
they will quite often. Several of the ones that I've done, they've supplied, bags and treats and water and everything else for them.
Yeah. Tom brings up a good point that he's been to a non-CITO tree planting in San Antonio where the city pre-dug the holes. Some of them have even a process. I've seen that where they'll give you all the tools and they'll tell you exactly, and you can plant tree after tree pretty quick if you with the tools they give you. There's that.
Does the Memphis area need kudzu removal? If you don't know what that is, you won't believe me. Have you ever seen that before? Do you know what it is?
No.
So it's basically like the zombie apocalypse, but the vegan version.
Kudzu.
It is a plant that is so aggressive.
Oh, yes.
It will take over everything, and it's not something you can easily remove. It is out of control.
Looks like
I think you have to burn it out.
Right.
I think originally it was brought in to like help the soil, and it's so aggressive it takes over everything. And like, if you've ever seen one of those things that looks like it's just totally overgrown,
right?
It's out of control.
Great. Yeah, that's bad.
It is terrible. It's bad stuff.
The vine that never truly ate the South is what they're saying. But it's I'm reading about it now about but it's apparently is a problem in many areas.
Yeah, leafy vine like some kind of a cheesy sci-fi movie from like the 50s.
Right. This looks to be bad. So there probably is, Adi. That's a good idea. We could do that too as a possibility.
How cool would it be after a mega to have every person that attends a mega gets to plant a tree?
Oh yeah.
That'd be a huge forest, but it'd be great.
It'd be awesome. Yeah. So that is key. All right. Moving on to the next one, which is going extreme, which I know Jesse's a ears perked up when I said that.
Yeah, I've attended a 5.5 CITO back when you could.
Back when you could. This one's a D1 T5. It was in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
It was a host of T5 canoe kayak Seto. So, what was it your Seto? Do you remember what y'all did there for that one, or y'all go out to an
Ours
island?
was down in Florida, and it was on an island that was really well hidden back in the jungle, back in the deep Everglades.
Right.
You had to take a boat to get to it, and good luck finding it. There's also a 5.5 virtual there too. So
wow,
that's where a lot of that came from. But it was a crazy one that happened a long time ago. I've told the story on here before, I know, but years ago. But
sure.
it was quite a wild one.
Yeah. No, I remember me mentioning it. Yeah, this one I like. This was on was Ghost River, this is near. I guess it was near Moscow, Tennessee. It was back in 2017. One of the things I thought, this is interesting. I like this idea. I'll run this by you too, as we talk about this particular Seto, and that is giving options for people to do the Seto in different ways. So, for example, if you're not into kayaking, they give the option of you can help either before people hit the water, or join us at the end of the trail, or into the water trail, and help us Seto at the end. So if you don't want to kayak, and they were going to give you credit for the cache owner was going to say, I'll give you credit for a D1 T5 if you help with the Seto. So
here's what I'm going to say about that. Couple things. One, there's some people, just like always, that's going to get all kinds of Twitter pated about it. Because, they didn't kayak. So that, first of all, shut up. Second of all, there's a couple things that you have to think about. It takes, if you're doing a real Seto, not just to pick up the side of the road trash, but like a kayak Seto, there's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of rolls that go into that. And technically, if your GZ is, let's say your GZ is at the start of the river.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have a minimum of an hour Seto. Well, somebody can't be on the river with the rest of them, because events don't move. So that whole time, if somebody shows up at, the Seto starts at 7, somebody shows up at 7:20, somebody has to be at GZ.
Yeah.
So you may be going along and you're picking up trash along the side and you're doing all your trash stuff or whatever, but you can't abandon GZ. So at least that one person back there is not going to get to go on the kayaks.
Right.
If you're doing kayaks, you need somebody to shuttle people back to the beginning. Correct. You're not going to go back up the river. That's like a 110 Seto. That's ridiculous.
Depending on
in large Setos, we have often had one person stationed, even not on a kayak one, at a food station. So there's food and water being served the whole time. They're not going out and cleaning up. They're helping everybody else stay out there for a longer time,
Correct.
Seto has to be a minimum of an hour, but not only an hour. You can do one that's 8 hours so people can come and go throughout the day, but you still have to have somebody at GZ. So, but because the kayak is the main component there, that's still a legitimate 1.5, right? Because kayak is a 5.
Yes.
So, I know some people get all upset about that because, they didn't. Yeah, guess what? We've all seen people throw down a container from the top of a tree, and not everybody climbed it. So shut up. The whole point is not to get caught up in the DT stuff and the details. You're doing something like this, it's a good thing, because not everybody. It's hard to send a crew out there to clean up alongside the river, right? So when geocachers can get out and do something like that, that's huge. So, I love that. I think that's a great idea.
Tom's brings up a good point, which is to get the trash out of the weeds that you can't get from the shore. You need to have somebody in a kayak do it, because it just feasibly can't really be done, very well at all, unless you're in the kayak going down and there's always trash that can be picked up in the river.
Oh yeah. And it does not need to be in the water there.
Right. It doesn't. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, you're right.
KC11. He accidentally created a D1 T5 event in a parking lot. He got the no email from there and said he's going to get in trouble.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't want to fake them. You don't want to make it real, right? But don't get caught up in the details. You don't want to get banned from hosting events or anything. That'd be bad.
Yeah. No, and Jeff's right. You can have a trash boat along the have an extra empty one that people can kayak over to, and they put all their trash in one of them. Just make sure it doesn't get lost on the way down, kind of thing. So yeah, UDAC's like, when does Memphis ever hold back? I don't think he ever holds back. So
that's
yeah,
right.
pull a barge.
It's been too long of a week for me to hold back.
No, yeah. Jesse's not in a hold back mood this week.
No. Hey, at least I have air conditioning back again, so I'm happy about that.
Oh yeah. Hey, boy, I would be a mess. Yeah.
Don't have all the walls that are supposed to be in my house, but I do have air conditioning, so that's okay. Well, but that's for another show.
That's for another show. Well, I'm glad that's working for you. So
yeah. So anyway, I think that's an awesome idea to do stuff like that. That's different. It's exciting because people, that's what geocaching is, a whole different range of stuff. So that's good.
Right. No, that's a good one to do. So, all right. Next one up. This is one that it's similar to the cleaning up a cemetery, and that is just cleaning up an area. So I'll bring up the GC code if people want to see it, but this one is an idea that was I think it was done 4/22, so it was on April 22nd, Earth Day. Seto was at a preserve, and so that's a great idea, is just to clean up an area.
It's an area you're benefiting the public, right?
Yeah,
it's a nature preserve, so it's there's not unlimited funds for the government to get out and clean those things up all the time.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So this was a really good, another well done Seto. We'll get into the food here in a minute, as far as items that you might want to provide. Don't have to, but these are ideas.
Just make it a little nicer.
Yeah. They explained what they were doing. This was at a preserve at Maury Island. Little manual labor, lots of projects. Bring gloves, clothes you don't mind getting dirty in. They made it into a full-blown event, Jesse. They had a little raffle for their little group, little door prizes.
There's no reason that CITOs can't be like full-blown events.
Right.
They don't have to be an hour. They can be much longer than that. And you can do, and I don't want to get ahead because I know we're going to talk about it, but you can do a lot of fun stuff to go with a Seto.
Yeah, absolutely. They put out new, like you said earlier, this is a good chance to put out some new caches, put some new caches around.
Yes. There are at least 40 people watching live right now. We know and that's just what we're seeing move around. Yeah. Tom says he challenges every person to do a Seto in the next 12 months. That would be 40 more Setos.
There's 40 more Setos. Yep.
That would be pretty cool.
Yes.
But you can do that too. Like if you have a group of local cachers,
right?
Challenge everybody, and maybe in your local area, if you can get 12 people to host Setos, you'll have one every month.
Right.
That's pretty good. That's something brand new to the landscape, right? I mean, that'll make a huge difference.
And do something that you actually have a little bit of passion for. And that's the idea about tonight's show, is that, kind of like the CFO, I feel her pain too. It's like, really, we're going to pick up trash? Oh boy. Okay. All right. Well, I guess. I mean, whereas for me, I would think, oh, we're going to, fix, especially some cemeteries that we've been to. Susan and I we've been in a lot of cemeteries, finding counties. And there are a lot of them where you're like, oh my gosh, I mean, does nobody care anymore to at least, I mean, you don't have to put flowers out every day, but can we at least keep this guy's headstone upright? I mean,
right. And, have a little pride. Like, these people that are in here are not the pill bottle under a bush cachers, right?
Right.
Hopefully nobody in here is hiding something like that. So don't be the same, be the same with your Setos. Have, challenge each other or challenge people in your area, like who in the next 6 months can come up with the best, most creative CITO.
Yeah.
And have that, wear that with a, like a badge of pride. You've got the best CITO that's ever been in your area. That's
Absolutely.
something that people will talk about.
Yeah. UDAC has a good idea about coastal cleanup. They get a chance to get out to the beach but you're also cleaning up, because most people that go to the beach are not going to clean up anything. In fact, usually it's the opposite. Not only are they not cleaning up, they're causing part of the problem. So it's a great idea. Good idea, UDAC. That's a good one. So yeah, let's do this, Jesse. Between now and
you're going exactly where I was going to go with it.
We're going to give something away. So send us an email, geocachetalk@gmail.com. How much time we want to give them? A month?
Well, it depends on how big the prize is.
Well, I've got some coins.
I tell you what, let's do this.
Yep.
Let's start the challenge out now. Let's just throw the challenge out now.
Right.
And then next week we'll come back with a good prize.
Okay.
Because I want this to be a good prize, because I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
So what do you want to give them for parameters? Because we love challenges. Obviously, we love them. The people in here love them too. So and then we'll have to have a way people have to vote on it too. So let's do this. Let's give them how many months?
Well,
by January 1st?
Yeah, I was thinking for an event, you can publish an event from either now, well, not now, but you can schedule it 2 weeks from now up to 6 weeks or 6 months, right?
Yeah. So let's do it by the end of the year.
So, okay, right. So, yeah, you'll need to
have it published by the end of the year.
Yep.
Or the event has to be before the end of the year.
Before 12/31, right?
Yep. So it's a 2021 event.
Yep.
Most creative CITO, is that what you want to do?
Well, yeah, we could do
the best, and what we'll do is we'll put them all together and we'll have everybody vote on it.
Oh, I like that.
All the entries. So you got to send it in. It's got to be your CITO. You're the one who's publishing it.
Yep.
And we'll come up with a big, good prize for this one. Maybe even the top 3 prizes for it.
January. Yeah, we could do end of January.
So I think she's saying by January. So
by January. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We'll do it again in the future, Kitty Catch is kind of stuck. They're still in lockdown. So for people that are in lockdown during this one, we will do it again, because we want to encourage it again. So this would only be able to be for people that aren't locked down, right? Because I would assume their lockdown would mean they couldn't even host an event, even if it was like 8 hours and people didn't have to gather at the same time, because there's limited time they can go out.
Right.
So maybe we can think of another way for them to be able to participate too.
Yeah. We'll think about that. But yeah, I like
now the people that aren't on lockdown, which I hate it for the people that are.
I know.
It's almost like we should host some kind of event for those people, but we'll talk about that later.
Maybe we should do
but we'll talk about that later. Maybe we can even put CITO in that event next time. Okay. We're getting off topic. We're never going to finish the show. So the challenge: publish one by the end of the year.
Right.
The best one, as voted on, we'll put a poll out, and everybody, we'll put them all in. We'll put all the ones that are submitted.
Yep.
And maybe the top 3.
Yeah, we probably do
top 3.
Top 3.
We'll come up with some good prizes for it. And then we'll feature them too, like on a show. We'll feature the CITOs. We'll talk about it on a follow-up show. And maybe that'll be an award that we do going forward.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Ryan's right. There's a mess right now down in Louisiana. You could see to it right now.
Yeah. There's going to be, well, you know what? There's going to be some cleanup everywhere to do, right?
Natural disasters and everything
else. But
it's a mess.
All right. So that's our 2021 CITO contest.
Yep. We'll work on that.
Yes, they can still join in on the vote. Absolutely. Everybody gets to vote for it.
Yeah.
But everybody had to submit them. So submit your CITOs, get them published between now and the end of the year. And that's what we can do in January, is we'll have a big reveal of the best 2021 CITO. And then maybe next year we'll do it for first half or something.
Right. That would be cool to, if you could get can you get a CITO be a mega.
If it went mega, it wouldn't be a Ceto anymore. You can only have one icon at a time.
They'd have to
now,
make
that would be interesting. I wonder what the biggest Ceto ever attended was.
I don't know.
But check Project GC probably to do that.
Yeah, do a little Project GC on that. You could maybe make a Frankenstein souvenir with part mega, part Seto mixed together. That'd be a cool icon.
Cap it at 499 people. I don't want to lose my Ceto icon.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just because it goes to just because you have 300 will attends doesn't mean it's a Ceto. You have to apply. Yeah. Which we found out, which we didn't have any problem with, but still you have to apply for it. Okay, let's talk about a couple others and then we're going to wrap up. You had one. Did you want to talk about this one that you did in Colorado?
I haven't done it. It's coming up.
Oh, coming up. Okay.
In true Colorado fashion, it's at the top of a mountain, but it's only a 4.5.
That's definitely.
But I thought it was interesting. And the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because there's several ways to get to this Ceto.
Okay.
And if it wasn't in Colorado, people would kind of laugh about them saying this. But there's also a disclaimer on it.
Okay.
So it says Colorado weather is unpredictable. At 14,000 feet, it can be deadly. Be prepared for extreme and quickly changing weather from sunny hot to snow on the ground in the middle of summer, which Gary can attest to.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This is top of Pikes Peak. On July 4th, there can be snow.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Terrain on top of a 14,000 foot mountain is rocky, uneven, and a slip or fall can be deadly. Be responsible, wear appropriate clothing and footwear, and be prepared. Altitude sickness is real. It absolutely is. Take it slowly, bring plenty of water, and familiarize yourself with the symptoms of altitude sickness. So when you have a disclaimer on a Ceto, it's pretty serious. And that's like the first thing. So there's several ways to reach the top of Pikes Peak.
Yes, that's true.
You can drive there. There's a shuttle that takes you up there. You can hike up it. And you can, bicycle. There's a lot of things you can do. And there's even a train that you can ride up to the top of it.
Yep, that's true.
The interesting thing with this one, if you pull up that cache page, is the price of entrance.
Okay.
It says there are fees to park or ride at the top. And if you look at those fees, they go anywhere from $10 per adult and $2 per kid in the car to up to $50 per car. So depending on how you get to this location, it could cost you $50 for the Ceto.
Oh, wow.
Now, if you plan ahead, now you can just hike up there for free.
Yeah, it's true.
That makes it a pretty high terrain at that point.
Very high terrain, yeah.
So this is a different one. And when they talk about altitude sickness, if you've never been at 14,000 feet,
yes,
it is no joke. If you jog across the parking lot and you're not used to that, you will be out of breath and you could get a little dizzy.
Yeah, and it affects everyone different. So, I fortunately don't seem to. I mean, I'm not running just because I can't run at 500 feet elevation, but if I'm at that height, I don't seem to have any problem. Although some people get the altitude sickness and they get several things, so you have to at least know what you're getting into, right? And be aware.
It can be very serious.
Yeah.
But it's so anyway. And you've been to top of Pikes Peak. You can do them in a lot of different places, and that's a very unique and would most likely be everybody's highest Ceto they've ever attended in altitude.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. I think you talked about this at the very beginning, but remind me about Cetos. Or events, I guess events can't be used for challenges, right?
No, it absolutely can.
Can? Okay.
Yeah, events can be used for challenges.
I wonder if you can create some kind of
semi-fizzy. So you could do, like an event fizzy where it's all D1s.
Yeah.
But the terrain could be 1 to 5.
Okay.
So you could absolutely do that.
Okay. Yep.
And you could attend events over, 11,000 feet, 14,000 feet or whatever. So
yes.
There's definitely a lot of things you could do with an event like that.
Right. There's so many things. We just barely scratched the surface tonight. We do want to switch gears a little bit and talk about things that you want to consider when you do these kind of events, you have to think ahead. It's different than just going out and caching, because you need to bring a pen. I mean, there's not a lot of tools necessarily of the trade that you need for a geocache. For Seto, though, you got to think ahead. Some things you must think about first is that, do you need to provide tools? Do you want, or should you suggest to those that are coming to bring tools? Is that something that you need for this type of Seto? What are you going to do with if your Seto is trash related? You have to think through how the trash is going to move from trash bag to the next step.
How are you going to dispose of that trash?
Yeah, you can't just leave it on the side of the road. All you did was make a bigger problem. Well, you took a lot of little problems. You made one big problem. Now you got a big
right.
So do some planning ahead. Let your county or wherever the local jurisdiction is, they will come. Many times I've heard that they will, you tell us where you're leaving the trash, we'll come get it and we'll get rid of it. I mean, or they'll say, take it to this spot nearby and we'll take care of it from there, or whatever it is, but just make arrangements.
And you need to plan ahead with them too, for if you find contraband. So if you find things that are too dangerous to pick up or that are illegal or anything else like that, which has happened at Setos I've been at, you need to have somebody you can contact.
Yeah. That's a great point, because you're out in places that this is potential. I don't know, as far as law enforcement goes, Jesse, I mean, if somebody found a gun, I assume that you don't want to pick it up. You're supposed to just call.
You would not want to pick it up. No.
Right. If you find, like you said, if you were to find something that looks fishy, not fishy.
Well, not only that, drug
right.
paraphernalia.
That's what I'm thinking.
Any kind of weapons, anything like that, or something that doesn't seem like it should be there. Wallets, you find those on the side of the road, and there's all kinds of things that you would want to have some contact. Or what if somebody gets hurt?
Right.
It's not just necessarily on the side of the road. You may be out in the park somewhere, so you need to have a plan for those things.
Correct. Yeah. Plan ahead. Know what you're going to do. Think through the scenarios. Know who you're going to, before you even get to that point. Know your contacts. Know who you're going to have as far as that goes. Those are great. Also, some things to think about: bringing water, supplies, snacks. Is that my phone? Is that my mic doing that? What's that noise I'm hearing?
I don't know. Snacks are good. Water, gloves, all the typical tools that you would want to bring. You need to let people know if you're responsible for that, or if they're going to do it, or if the host is going to, the other things to think about too is, just like we saw the first one there, they had some new caches coming out. That's great. You're already getting permission to clean up an area. You might as well ask if you can put a few new caches in that area too, right?
Yeah.
Bring them out. That's just a little bonus for some people. Yeah. And what I've seen in one or two instances is, like, they have an annual cleanup. So what they'll do is they have this big, pretty ammo can that you bring out to the event, and everybody at the event signs it as part of that, 2020 Seto event or whatever.
Oh, cool.
And it's a nice ammo can. They sign it outside, and then they hide it to be published later. So that says, like, the 2020 Setos attended by all these people, and now it's a big, nice, pretty ammo can that's hidden in that area to commemorate that they all got together and did that Seto that year.
Oh, what a great idea.
That stays as a permanent part of the landscape. So when you see it in the future, it's the name of the cache was like, and it wasn't 2020, but it was like, 2019, East Side Park Seto. Right. That's the name of the traditional cache that's there. So
sort of memorialized from then on. It's on the side of that.
Pretty neat.
Tom has a point about if you find tires too big to pick up, then they just take coordinates and let the city know where it is, so they can go dispose of it, because you don't have the tools.
Set them on fire. They'll burn for a long time. They'll be able to find them.
Right. Hide a cache in it? No, don't do that.
There you go. KC11, he published 14 new caches and a Seto on the same date. So people had a chance to get 8 different icons in the same part.
Oh, neat.
That will draw people to your Seto. That's great, right?
What a perfect idea.
Yeah, that's something really good to use.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, that is perfect. If you bring donuts, Tom will show up wherever you are in the world.
It doesn't matter where you are. Tom's going to be there.
You'll have at least one person there. So Electric Water Boy will come to your Seto. Just let him know what donut.
Coffee's a good one. Especially
if you provide Round Rock donuts, then he's in. He'll be there. So there you go. There's one way to do it.
Oh, look at this. So Barbara Bowman said, made a cool cake for a Seto. Was the letter Seto covered in tiny rubbish bins full of edible rubbish?
Oh, there you go.
That is awesome. Tell me that's not memorable. You'll never forget that one as long as
that's perfect.
That is it's those little touches like that make them a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Depending on what your caching style is, besides getting to hang out with people, if you do a 3-hour Seto, some people would like to be out finding 300 caches during that time.
Right.
So you need to make it memorable to offset that, right? Make it something unique, something good, so people can enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. It doesn't have to be, like you said, just memorable. So maybe a little giveaway of some type. Maybe
a Seto coin.
A door prize, a Seto coin. Yeah,
people do most trash collected to get a prize. Biggest, weirdest piece of trash, they get a prize. I've seen a lot of those things in events. It just makes it a little bit of fun, right?
Right. Absolutely.
You can make shirts pretty simply nowadays. First 15 people that show up, you can give away a T-shirt with the 2020 Seto Eastside Park shirt on it.
Perfect.
And you can get those printed nowadays for like just a couple dollars a piece.
Yep.
Fun little souvenirs.
So there you go. So make a contest. I saw Joshua, they had one that Joshua's in that I forget all the details, but they had a deal where they weighed, I think, the bag. I mean, they weren't, it wasn't a big deal, so people weren't cheating, but they had a deal where it's like, fill a bag with trash, and then whatever it happened to be, they, whoever had the, biggest bag of trash, there's, let your mind wander as far as possible. Fun things to do, when you're done with the Seto, that will make it just a fun, like you said, a fun, memorable, evening, or not evening, but morning, whenever you happen to have it.
And we'll come out with more details on we're already challenging people, so people will be thinking about it now, but all year, but we'll come out with some more details and best 2021 Seto. That's what we're going to call it.
Yep. I got my brain spinning right now. I've actually thought of one that I really want to do. So now I got to try to figure out ways to make it. Of course, I can't win this contest, but I want to at least participate. And that's something for all the network folks, participate.
Who knows? Maybe we'll have a side contest between the network.
For the network, you never know.
We're eligible. We're not going to win a prize for ourselves, but just bragging rights.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Well, final thoughts. I think we can wrap up tonight.
Setos are one of those things that people are kind of touch and go on. Some people really like them, some people don't, but you really can make them creative. And it's, again, like we always say, it's one of the few things we have where we actually give back to the environment. And our game board is the world, right? So you give back to the locals, and you make up for some of those dumb things that some of us do sometimes by accident, right? But we all do silly things from time to time and have faux pas. So this is a chance to give back and really give geocaching a good name. And the more creative you can make it, you can control the environment. So it can be a family-friendly part of geocaching that some of it isn't.
Yes.
Some CITOs are not family friendly.
Right.
But kayaking and planting trees and flowers and painting bushes. Don't paint bushes. Paint benches.
Benches. There you go.
But those things are good. And if you don't like something, make it better. So that's the chance we have to do that. And just be creative with it. Don't be the pill bottle under a bush cacher.
Right.
Be the one that puts out something that's memorable and people talk about for a long time.
Exactly. Yep. Couldn't have said any better. Stay tuned for more as we get down the road and start planning. Get those CITOs.
Yep.
Get
we
the
will
brain
see everybody. Well, then, and we'll see everybody in July.
Yeah, that's true.
Just plan now. Get your vacation. Book your vacation. We'll see everybody in July.
July 16th.
I want everybody in this chat room to be there in July.
Yeah.
Everybody will be done with lockdown. I'm predicting it now.
Yep.
No lockdowns. Then we're not allowing it. Everybody will be there.
It's going to be amazing.
Yes.
It will be. I guarantee it. All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you soon.
May your finds be many and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comments at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.